standards, but then again, it is still summer. Either way, the AC is working just fine at U.S. Bank Stadium in the Twin Cities. Today, we've got a Week 13 matchup for you here between the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings. The calendar has turned to December, and we're in the home stretch now as we're underway in Week 13.
This will be a return from deep in the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. Well, now they'll stop play here, at least momentarily. A member of the Vikings in some discomfort after that last play. Well, now they're going to come out and take a look at this injury, and we'll be back in a moment.
Here's Cook as they begin on the ground. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22.
So that time they get the tight end on the hold.
Normally he's a pretty good run blocker, but this time he just didn't get his arms extended and let go quickly enough. The flag came out as a result.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty.
On play action, Mills.
That is caught by Thielen. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
So the big gain, all for naught for the offense. That yellow flag is going to bring it back.
Oh, what a tough look for the offense because they see all that yardage lost and that ball's walked back and then some behind the original line of scrimmage.
So the illegal forward pass also costs him a down, and now it's 2nd and long.
Mills looking to the air right away. Oh, that's into a double team, and it's intercepted.
Picked off by the linebacker, C.J. Mosley. And he'll return it to the 24-yard line.
Well, it's football 101 because when you come in as the favorite team, you obviously don't want to hand any kind of advantage to an opponent ready for an upset. Now, you'll be lucky to only be down 3-zip the next time you get the ball back because you've just handed them a dose of confidence to start this game.
On 1st and 10, it's Hall.
And he's in. Touchdown, Jets.
That's how you take advantage of an early turnover. A sudden change situation, meaning ball's turned over. How's both sides going to handle it? One side handled it way better. They went right out on the field and put the ball in the end zone.
One play, that just added insult to injury.
Yeah, that just tells you on the defensive side, they didn't come out ready to go, still reeling from the fact that the ball got turned over.
Zuerlein good with a PAT, and it's now a 7-0 game. Now after the touchdown, it's Zuerlein. He'll kick it away. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and he'll take over at the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, wound up leading to a touchdown the other way. How do you approach drive number 2?
Going back to your game plan coming in, everyone has matchups that they like better than others. Where they think they have an advantage, dial up some of those plays. Try and go to those spots and get your offense moving.
They give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Working out of the gun, Mills. He's going to get this one down to Cook.
So 5 yards here, 5 on the play. And 3rd and 1 now.
And they'll use him out in the backfield, and sometimes quite a bit. They're just trying to get him touches any way they can. 4 catches a week ago. There's another one right there.
They'll run it. Here's Cook. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. The Vikings sit 6-5 now on the year. And they come in losers of 2 straight, so trying to turn things around here.
And you just mentioned 2 straight, and when you're talking about 2 games, that's nothing to panic about. They feel like they've been a little bit unlucky in the last couple. This is a club that's more than capable of turning things around, and I expect them to play really well here.
A first down throw for Mills. That's complete to Justin Jefferson. And they're able to work this across midfield to the 48.
I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people. But you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
And this time they were waiting for him as he'll be knocked down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage.
Quinnen Williams, so hard to block, and he shows it that time, making the tackle for loss.
Now they contend with a 2nd and 12 after the loss.
Mills now from the 50. Mills can't get away, and down he goes. Rookie Jermaine Johnson going all the way from last chance U to now dropping NFL quarterbacks.
And if we go back to the last series, remember their coverage allowed them to get a turnover in the last drive, a takeaway, and that helped contribute to a sack on this one. I think maybe this quarterback's a little bit hesitant. Last time he turned it over, now he sees his zone coverage a little bit slow to get rid of the football.
Now the throw on 3rd down, knocked away and incomplete.
As a defensive back, you have some weapons at your disposal that we don't often talk about, and you can read the receiver's eyes, you can read his hands, and you know that the arrival of the ball is imminent, and that allows you to make a play on it and oftentimes knock it away.
So on 4th down, kicking it away here, Michael Palardy.
The Jets have Braxton Berrios back deep.
They punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. Oh, and what a play on special teams here. This is going to be down inside the 5, all the way down at the 2-yard line.
And he's got to be fired up about that effort. I don't think he could have walked down and placed it any better than where he ended up putting the football. That was excellent.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. I mean, look, they're on the road. So
And nothing but green grass here, middle of the field. He's at the 50, 30, 20, and all the way in. Touchdown, New York.
Breece Hall, his 8th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Jets are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Another impressive drive, so they're 2 for 2, 2 touchdowns. Charles, a great start to this ball game for them.
And one of the words that's really worked its way into our lexicon is stacking. They've stacked momentum each time out, and not only on offense. Between those touchdowns, defense held, forced a punt to get the ball back, and they've played awfully well in this one. Both sides are playing at optimal level.
Breaks their line to kick off for the Jets.
Now after the touchdown, it's Zuerlein. He'll kick it away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They've been outplayed early, no question. Down 14-0 already as they come up 1st and 10. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. first down yardage on the first play of the drive. Give him 14.
I have to admit, I'm excited by that play call and the end result, because this is a team that's down big early in the first quarter, and a lot of teams will just panic, abandon the playbook, and just start firing the ball all over the place. It's way too early for that. Stick to what works for you.
Down double digits, and we talked about their game plan being both running and passing there. You're right. They're sticking to the game plan, getting the ground game going.
A lot of football left to be played.
Jermaine Johnson there to bring him down. This defense for the Jets, they put together a strong effort last week in the win over Chicago.
Yeah, they gave up 17 points, but that's what you would consider a goal for each and every defense, because if you give up 17 points a game all year long.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Quentin Williams able to record his 5th sack of the season.
When you're down a couple of scores like this, CD, you can't afford too many plays that go in the wrong direction like that one.
Yeah, when you take a good look at it broadly, sacks are better than giving up an interception. But where they are on the scoreboard, they've got to get rid of all of that and just create positive plays for themselves in order to have a chance.
Well, based on what we've seen so far, I don't think you can even call this an off day anymore, partner, because this group we're watching, they are totally out of rhythm, trying to get their game plan up and running. That 0 on the scoreboard is glaring down at them with every incompletion.
Palardy now on to punt as he sends this one away.
Here's Berrios.
It's a 42-yard punt, but 8 on the return. And the Jets will take over 1st and 10.
First and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive.
Well, partner, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen. Incredible when they do. And you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. Wilson. Throw left side complete. That's Davis. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1.
And it's 3rd down.
14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports.
14. Vikings nothing.
Heavy set out there on 3rd and 1.
Throwing is Wilson. Blitz coming, and down he goes. They run him in off the corner, and he gets in and drop him for a loss of 4.
Now the Jets send on Braden Mann to punt.
He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. 43 yards on the punt, return of 4.
And it will be Vikings ball, 1st and 10.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still 2nd quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. This time for Smith, and it's intercepted.
Picked off by Ashton Davis.
And he'll return this ball across midfield to the 47-yard line.
CD, I know it's just his second year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape, he's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, second year, as you noted, on-the-job training, so he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
After the interception, here's Wilson. This pass out wide to Hall. And he's going to be taken down at about the 33.
So many times in my career, I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing. But as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Now it's Wilson. And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. Multiple players getting home there for an 8-yard loss.
And they weren't in zone coverage. They were in man, and each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
Meanwhile, Wilson's throw going to be caught by Davis.
And they'll get this to the 30-yard line before crossing over out of bounds.
As long as you go through your proper reads and progressions, the drag route can be one of those old, reliable plays because usually it's good for a good chunk of yardage, as we just saw there.
And those guys like it, right? They can get the ball with a full head of steam.
Especially against man coverage, because man coverage, they're typically running away from someone and not worried about traffic coming out on the other end.
And he'll be brought down at the 27.
How about that strategy there, Brandon? Third down, they just said, we got faith in our tackles. We'll give you the short stuff, and just decided to protect the sticks. So every time I hear fans telling me tackling's not a part of the game anymore, plays like that, I can clip and save and show them you have to tackle well if you want to be a good defense.
Well, they already had the early lead, and they get the interception, Charles, and now they add 3 more with the field goal.
Yeah, they're in control of how this game is playing out so far. You mentioned the early lead. Now they're expanding on it, getting plays on both sides of the ball. A winning recipe if they can keep this up.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the second quarter, but you're down.
You don't want to.
I know, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think
did.
you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. Now it's the backup Cousins. And that'll be incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
The Vikings on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 9. Throwing is Cousins. Under a sea of defenders and intercepted.
Picked up by Jordan Whitehead. And they'll take over inside the 45 at the 44-yard line. It's almost like you can see the look of frustration on his face. 4 interceptions last week. We talked about it all week. What did he do wrong? And another one here in the first half.
And you can understand the frustration. You actually feel his pain a little bit. But the worst thing he can do is what you're seeing right now, showing the other team that he's frustrated. All they're going to do is double their efforts to make him even more frustrated. He's got to gather himself, compose himself, and keep fighting.
He talked a lot about erasing that loss last week, getting back in the win column. We'll see how he responds. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. They'll wind up losing 10 on the sack, and it'll lead to a 3rd and long.
So, Charles, no turnovers yet for this offense, but those sacks now, they're starting to pile up.
And one thing usually leads to another because they've got to figure out how the offensive line and everyone else involved in protection can keep their quarterback upright and allow him a chance to throw the ball downfield.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
On 4th down, punt coming from Braden Mann.
46 on his first kick. This one in that neighborhood as well.
Second quarter action with 1:59 remaining. We remind you in just a couple of minutes, we'll get you to Orlando and our good friend Jonathan Coachman. Coach will run through some of the numbers and the next-gen stats from this first half of football so far.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get things back on track.
And this is where the coach is walking that line of being calm and really being firm with his team. I had one tell me once, when we were having a tough patch, this too shall pass, this too shall pass.
Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Jordan Whitehead. And they will finally get him as he's all the way down near the 40-yard line.
He exited the pocket trying to improvise. That was a tough throw, and unfortunately, it wound up in the wrong pair of hands.
And, Brandon, when you're on the run, sometimes your downfield vision can get skewed just a bit. Now, the beauty of extending a play is sometimes your receivers find their way open, but oftentimes you end up closing down part of the field and bringing those defenders to the ball. And that one was picked off.
132 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, they always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game.
Here's a pass swung out left to his running back. So back-to-back plays, each get nothing. And that's going to make it 3rd down and less than a yard.
That's a nice job defensively to make sure everyone was accounted for, because ordinarily you pick up the guys downfield and sometimes you forget about the running back. In this case, they did not and dropped him for no gain.
They'll run with Hall.
And he's going to have the first down yardage as he's down at about the 30-yard line.
So it's pretty simple, partner. You pick up a turnover, set you up in excellent field position. The last thing you want to do is go 3 and out in this spot.
Yeah, they would have had to settle for a field goal attempt, but now they keep those touchdown hopes alive. Off the play fake. Here's Wilson sliding out of the pocket. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down.
One thing you hope to see out of a rookie tight end is a real concentration when the ball's in the air, and I'm not sure that he didn't, but he has to be prepared for people making a play on it when that ball's up for grabs.
On 2nd down, a run with Hall.
And that'll hurt the average a bit, as this time they're able to get him behind the line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11.
And that's what I'd like to see out of this defense, a little fire, a little toughness. It hasn't been the best first half for them, but they did do a nice job there forcing a loss on that play.
On 3rd down, Wilson. And he's got a man. Corey Davis. And all the way in. Touchdown, New York. Corey Davis, his 5th touchdown now on the year.
And the Jets are able to widen their lead here in this first half.
Zuerlein connects on the extra point, and the rout is on here in this first half. Now after the touchdown, it's Zuerlein. He'll kick it away. And no return on this one. It's a fair catch, a signal for, and taken. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, getting set for quarter number 3 here. And the Jets set to receive this third quarter kickoff, and they have the lead as well as we are underway in the second half.
Returning from his end zone is Ty Johnson. And he had no room to run as he's tackled down inside the 20.
At their own 18-yard line.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive.
Second half starts with a run by Hall.
And he's tackled at the 38, but they doubled their yardage. The play started at the 19, and they gained 19.
And he continues to pile up the yardage. That puts him over $150 now. And this defense has really had its problems trying to keep him contained.
They go play action with Wilson. Open man here is Conklin.
And he's brought down inside the 20 at the 18-yard line.
They lulled them to sleep there, so to speak. That was all set up by the running game, wasn't it?
Another example of what all offensive coordinators tell us. When the running game's operating, it really opens up the playbook, and that's when they hit him with the play.
And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
Multiple defenders getting home there for a loss of 11.
Well, they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21.
Hall ought to give up the middle.
And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line.
166 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon. On third down, here's Hall.
And he's going to take it in for a Jets touchdown.
Breece Hall.
His 3rd touchdown of the game, number 11 on the year.
And the Jets take the opening kickoff of the third quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead.
Zuerlein good with a PAT. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. Now after the touchdown, it's Zuerlein. He'll kick it away. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
The CD, they certainly know the hole that they face as they begin the second half. They have to do what precious few teams have done in NFL history, Let's try to come back from a 4-possession deficit.
And, partner, you know as that team gathers, they're saying to each other, you never say never, right? Because if you're on an NFL roster, that's how you have to think. You can always come back and win a ball game. And let's face it, we saw a certain Super Bowl, a 25-point lead late, that wasn't enough to put someone away. With that being said, this task is near impossible. Let's face it. And bottom line is, it officially becomes impossible if this possession is an empty one.
Following the good run by Cook, here's another 1st and 10. On play action, Cousins. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Getting the sack, the 227-pound linebacker, Quan Alexander.
Oh, you can just see it in their body language. They're starting to see victory on the horizon now, and if it comes to fruition, they got to give a game ball to the front 7. Defensive line has taken charge and controlled this game. Face a challenge of stopping this opposing offense, and they've done so with ease.
Throwing on 2nd and long. Cousins. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by Ashton Davis. And he's going to take this one back to the 37-yard line. Well, more problems defensively. The face mask adds 15 yards.
And this has really been an undisciplined team. We've seen them make a lot of mistakes similar to this. It's a big reason why they're down so big on the scoreboard.
They're going to snuff this play out behind the line. We have not seen that much today. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. Hey, a lot of points have been scored in this game against them, but tally that one on the side of the defense.
Do you think maybe, possibly, it can be a little bit of a changer for them? Maybe not a game changer, but a little bit of a momentum one that maybe they can string together some pretty good plays and slow them down.
And he'll get it down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. And he's able to get more than half of what they needed. That brings up a 3rd and 5.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
On 3rd down, here's Carter. And he's brought down short. 2 yards there, needed 4.
Now that was a big-time play by the defense. They as well knew where the 1st down line was, and they didn't let them get anywhere near it.
So Wilson runs off, and now they will go to the man they call Greg the Leg, Greg Zuerlein. A 33-yarder from the left hash. Zuerlein's kick is up and through, and that will extend their lead even further. So the interception set him up with terrific field position, but 3 points, the end result.
Yeah, we can make this one pretty simple, partner. You always want to end drives with points, but that's one that you're going to look back on and probably say, we should have done better there.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. Well, we're still in the 3rd quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
And the pressure too much that time as Cousins goes down. Quinnen Williams picks up his 2nd sack of the afternoon. It has been a rough afternoon for him trying to get rid of the football. See, that's now 5 sacks.
How'd you like to be the offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach trying to come up with an answer for this pass rush? What blocking assignments do you change? Can guys play a little bit better? And we're seeing the end result on the scoreboard. Long day in the pocket for their quarterback.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. Here's Michael Palardy now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. So they'll accept that penalty, and that'll, of course, move the football up the field.
Throwing now, Wilson on first down.
Outright, he's got Ruckert.
Shreds him with a stiff arm.
And he'll be taken down here just shy of the 30.
This offensive game plan has just been sensational. I mean, when you think about all the different ways they've gotten their receivers open so far, it's really been impressive. Scheme, design, execution.
We have played 3 quarters. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
66.
On the counter, Carter. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. They go play action now. Wilson. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
Tall task ahead of him here, needing a full 15 yards to move the chains.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. That was Patrick Peterson from his cornerback spot, whirling in for the sack. Here's the Jets punter now, as he's on here to punt it away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken at about the 18-yard line. Not good at all. Punt of just 24 yards there. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
And they unfortunately are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the 4th quarter. This would be their 3rd straight defeat.
Quinnen Williams getting him once again his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
Pardon my vocabulary isn't that great, but to me, there's only one word that fits this front 7 today, and that's dominant. 4 and 5 sacks is already rare in one game. Getting to more than 6 in one contest while winning by this many points, an absolutely astounding effort by every player involved.
3rd and long for Cousins. Lets it fly for Thielen.
And the 3rd interception thrown by Cousins.
Picked off by DJ Reed.
And the Jets are going to take possession here at their own 47-yard line. Well, they've got the huge lead. Now they have another interception on the defensive side. Seems like everything they touch in this one, Charles, turns to gold.
And they have to be awfully happy right there to get what appears to be one more for the road. It helps seal away one of their best efforts of the season.
Credit Zadarius Smith, able to get through and make that tackle for a loss. Well, the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14.
Another tote for Carter. And this one not going anywhere. They get him at the 44 for a gain of just a yard.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
3rd and long, it's Wilson. The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. Danielle Hunter able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon. Here's the Jets punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. So a change of possession here on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway.
Now, this game went off the rails early for them and never really got back on track. And these fans, they were expecting to be on the other side of the scoreboard. But that is not the case as we play on here in this 4th quarter.
10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a 1st down. looking out of the gun. Cousins. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today.
Picked off by Ashton Davis.
And he'll take it across midfield to the 46-yard line.
Well, that is now his 5th interception thrown in this game. And, Charles, you've got to tip your cap to this defense. I mean, they have been so impressive reading these passes, stepping in those lanes, and picking them off.
Yeah, sometimes the best offense is an excellent defense, and they've done exactly that. What do you think, partner? A season's worth of highlights in just 4 quarters? I think that's what we're seeing from this group.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
On 1st down, right back to Hall.
And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
Now Wilson. Can't get away, and he's taken down. They put up their goal at the beginning of the season, and that was to win 7 games, and now they've accomplished that mission.
And congratulations to them for achieving their goal. They have to finish the season strong, but you got to think that going forward for next year, they're going to jump that number.
You see, it's 2 types of people in life. It's people that wake up